Um, yeah, so Tyson Beck, nice to meet you. Thanks for joining me today. Right away, where are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm in Australia, so a place called Adelaide in Australia, which is in the state of South Australia. So a long, long way away from America. It's like a 16-hour flight
Just
away.
a quick, just a quick nonstop 16 hours. You're there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I've done that. I've done that flight at least 30 times, and it's not an enjoyable flight. But yeah, we're in the future though. It's just past it's midnight here, so I guess Saturday now. Where it's Friday in America, so we're kind of living the future in Australia.
Well, thanks for staying up to talk a little baseball and Bob Gibson with us, with me.
No
So,
worries.
I mean, obvious question: how did you get involved with Topps's Project 2020?
So like I've been creating cards for Top since 2014. If some card collectors would know of a series called Topps Fire, and I was the artist designer that was kind of doing those, and it started with NFL, so football cards. Then it migrated to we did soccer and baseball, and now it's predominantly baseball now. So I've been working with Tops. I've done wall art, I've done trading cards, but I've never done anything like this project 2020, which has just gone crazy. So for how I got involved with it, I was literally visiting the Tops office in New York in November last year.
Mhm.
And I was just having a tour around with some staff that I work with, and I just bumped into somebody that worked there and said, "Oh, we've got a new thing that we're kind of got going forward with. We'd love to meet you and discuss it with you." And that's kind of how how it got going. So it was like, as soon as they pitched me the idea of like recreating iconic baseball cards, I'm like, nah, I'm all in. Like literally, like that's kind of like, these cards are the most, some of them are the most iconic cards ever, and to be given the keys to kind of, I guess, just do what you want to do with them is just unreal. So for me, it's much more enjoyable to be recreating iconic cards than just making new cards. I just feel like there's so much more history and purpose behind these cards.
No, a great answer, and obviously you've done some, and you'll be doing 20. And there's a lot of different ball players here in
Yeah.
St. Louis, Missouri. Of course, we're excited about the Bob Gibson because that's our town's guy. Can you describe your process with creating your Bob Gibson?
So my Bob Gibson, so mine is like my whole 20 cards is a set that it's like scrapbooking in school. So it's, for me, how I started. It's the origin of me as an artist. I used to go in school, cut things out of newspapers, sketch things, and kind of build it all up and just kind of like put it all in my art sketchbook. So this is kind of, I'm kind of building those into my cards. So what I'll do is, I'm not recreating these cards as a new card. I'm honoring the original card, and I'm also remixing it to my style. So I'm kind of just revamping it. And so I'm kind of going back with the Gibson one, looking at the original card. Like the initial thing that strikes me is the pink in it. Like that's just such a rare color for a baseball card. And then I dove into a bit of research on Bob Gibson, and for me, being a basketball fan, I was amazed to hear that he played for the Harlem Globetrotters. Like I was like, that's just nuts. So I kind of made a very small reference to that in on the card. It is written on the bottom left of the card, I think, and
Nice.
yeah, what I did was actually I incorporated bits of the back of the card on the front of the card across certain areas. So there's a nickname is in it, and a bunch of minor league stats as well, because it was his rookie card. So yeah, for me, I'm just kind of building upon the original card, and ideally the outcome is I hope to create a card that possibly to some collectors is like, that looks better than the original. That is, I guess, the ultimate goal. And I mean, some people might think it, others might not, but for me, that's the goal.
Yeah, yeah. So, what during your research of Bob Gibson, kind of putting you on the spot here, but what impressed you about him as a ball player, as a guy, et cetera?
Well, for me, it was like, I guess, the Globetrotters thing did impress me, because like, the fact that you play two sports, and like the Globetrotters are like, they would have been iconic back then as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know, I guess they're less iconic now, but they would have been huge in the 50s, I assume. And for me, like, I just, for someone that started playing in 1959, I did a bit of research on him, and I even saw something that the MLB posted on their socials recently, and there was a lot of comments saying like, "Oh, Bob Gibson in his prime, no one could, like, he's the best, he's the GOAT." And I was just like, wow, like, someone that used to play baseball that long ago, and there's like, you know, younger people these days saying that kind of was for me, who doesn't have an understanding of the history of the game, that kind of surprised me, and that was kind of quite cool.